$10 trillion in assets actively managed Vanguard is starting to enter the cryptocurrency market. In light of this, what does this imply for the cryptocurrency that we currently possess? In addition, we have an update from Casey Krautic regarding Ripple and the United Kingdom and the United States of America, as well as the secret meeting that took place at Downing Street. That is something that we are going to discuss in the future. I also have a great deal of other news guys who cover Ripple and XRP. In addition, we are going to provide an update on the current state of the Clarity Act regulation in the United States and how it will develop in the future. All right, let's break down all of this news. Shall we go? Not a problem. To put it simply, Eleanor Tarrant, the legendary Eleanor Tarrant, the world's second largest asset manager, Vanguard, provides access to cryptocurrency exchange-traded funds, ETFs, for broking clients. On its broking platform, Vanguard is getting ready to support cryptocurrency exchange-traded funds, ETFs. According to a source who is familiar with the situation, the mutual fund behemoth that is the second largest in the world and has assets under management totaling $10 trillion has, up until this point, remained on the sidelines when it comes to digital assets, opting for a more conservative approach than its competitors, Fidelity and Investments at Charles Schwab. Vanguard has been laying the groundwork for holding external discussions in response to strong client demand for digital assets and a shifting regulatory environment, according to a source familiar with the company plans who spoke on the condition of anonymity. This source provided their statement under the condition that they should remain anonymous. However, according to the source, there are presently no plans in place for Vanguard to introduce its own products in the same way that BlackRock has done. Instead, the company is contemplating the possibility of granting broking clients access to crypto ETFs offered by third parties through the remains. However, it is not yet clear when the decision will be made or when it will be finalized. According to the insider, they are taking a very deliberate approach, and they are aware that the dynamics have been shifting ever since 2024. A press representative for Vanguard did not reply to calls for comment. That being said, Vanguard is aware that their customers are eagerly anticipating this, and they have a total of $10 trillion under control. That is a significant number of customers. That is a significant amount of money. And in the event that you do not provide those customers with access to the goods that they desire, they are going to take that money and travel to BlackRock. It seems likely that they will go to either Morgan Stanley or Fidelity. It is going to be their departure because you are not taking into account what it is that people desire. Therefore, all of these institutions are being compelled to begin giving cryptocurrency to their customers because if they do not, their rivals will, and they will soon cease to exist as a financial institution. It is only possible to disable the technology for a limited amount of time, and you should consider the amount of harm that this truly causes to your own bank. Simply consider it to be fascinating. Moreover, this individual is pointing out that this crypto bubble is a print that is intended to point out Vanguard. Can you recall this? As I have demonstrated, that was a long time ago, man. That was several years ago. In the middle, we have all of these different partners here. Vanguard is in the midst. Ripple partners who are also affiliated to Vanguard are all included in this group. IFO, and this to be quite impressive. Do you currently have Temenos, PNC, HSBC, and CME Group? XRP is the derivative that is rising the fastest. In this case, you have Accenture. American Express is AV. I don't understand how you could possibly get through this information without breaking out into a broad grin. Here, I am beaming with happiness. Despite the fact that I am still exhausted from jet lag, I am in a smile. Additionally, Kevin Cage stated that blockchain technology is essentially global and transcends borders. He went on to post that blockchain technology is naturally global. This presents a significant opportunity for the United States and the United Kingdom to work together more closely on digital assets. The newly formed Transatlantic Task Force is the first similar agreement of its kind in our business anywhere in the world. Wow, that seems like so much magic to me. And you had Coinbase there, but apart from the most powerful financial institutions on the planet, was there anyone else there? Who else is there? Okay, let's switch gears, shall we? Oh, all right. According to a report by Barclays, the deadline of November 2025 for ISO 2022 is essential for the integration of cryptocurrencies and global payments. It is anticipated by Swift that 91% of financial institutions would be ready by the month of November. When it comes to the discussion between digital assets and fiat assets, the richer data model that ISO 2022 provides will be essential. Since the deadline for ISO 2022 is in November 2025, this does not mean that the transformation of the payments sector has come to a stop. Rather, it is just the beginning. The fact that Barclays XRP is being seen and heard is interesting. There has been activity at Barclays. It is clear that this document, which discusses the resiliency of the Ripple and XRP systems, is quite old. And of course, I have just finished making a movie about the digital IDs that are currently being used in the United Kingdom and how Ripple may be playing a role in this. In the event that you have not yet with that film, I am aware that it is a little bit different from what I generally do, but I believe that it is something that you should watch if you have the time. The article discusses how all of the global ID frameworks will soon converge on a single reality. This will result in decentralization. As the only impartial infrastructure regulators can rely on, they will be tethered to the XRP ledger, but they will do so in a stealthy manner under non-disclosure agreements. In addition, Eleanor Turd has yet another update to share with you here. It appears that the House of Representatives formally transmitted the Clarity Act to the Senate on Thursday, where it was referred to as the banking law. This comes after the House of Representatives agreed to retroactively integrate the anti-CBDC measure that was proposed by the majority of the Republican caucus in the Clarity Act last week. Consequently, it appears that they are intending to combine the Clarity Act with the bill that is opposed to CBDC. In light of this, what are my thoughts? To put it another way, the problem you are having here is that you are putting yourself in a box. Without a bill that prohibits CBDCs, it is possible that you would not want the retail form of a CBDC because consumers do not trust it, regardless of the circumstances. Nevertheless, when you are putting yourself in a position to compete with a wholesale CBDC, it might not make a lot of sense, right? This is a communication between the central bank and the banks. This is something that I cannot comprehend because in most cases, nations, particularly those with large economies, will rely on the central bank to do business. They will be responsible for the CBDC at the institutional level rather than the retail level. Moreover, we are going to put an end to that, so we will have to wait and see how things develop. The Ripple Payments Direct 2.0 Master USD Payments Guide is a comprehensive guide that explains how to generate identity tokens for ACH, real-time payments, and wire transfers using the Ripple. These features allow listed accounts to trade on particular DEX platforms. All right, this is starting to get fairly cool. After that, you will receive a message from Dominus. This kind of aggressive purchase of XRP by whales has never been seen before in the history of XRP. Does anyone know? Who or what do they know? Furthermore, you have Bybit. There is currently a listing for RLUSD on Bybit. Through its 60 million users and $6 billion in trading volume, Bybit has become the second largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world. A market capitalization of $740 million places RLUSD as the 94th largest cryptocurrency asset. The size of it continues to increase, doesn't it? It is expected to reach 1 billion before the year comes to a close. It is going to be really intriguing to figure out all of this information, especially with regard to where this goes in the year 2026. I do believe that the entry of Vanguard into the market is something that we ought to take note of because you already have BlackRock and now you have the second largest investment firm. In a short amount of time, each and every one of these financial institutions will be able to provide these goods to their customers. There will, in fact, be a great deal of merchandise available. Over 200 different cryptocurrency items are currently vying for approval. There could be an excessive number of cryptocurrencies, but in the end, those that have the most robust communities, the most robust possibilities, and the most robust cryptos will stand out. Furthermore, the XRP army is the only one of its kind. There's a story I'd like to tell you. A banquet was held for me the night before. The bank where my wife works has a special event when 20 people are honored with awards every quarter, and my wife was one of the recipients of one of those awards. Additionally, here is a stunning restaurant located on the 31st level of this building, and anyone is welcome to bring a visitor with them. This restaurant is located at the very top of this bank. We went there, and while I was there, I had the opportunity to talk to some executives from the bank, which I thought was quite cool. They were asked a few questions about cryptography and other topics of a similar nature. On the other hand, the gentleman who was seated across from me held an award for his wife, who was also present at the ceremony at the bank. The individual who was positioned to my right and who was basically, I believe he was either number 2 or number 3. He's been there for the past 4 decades. I really like this man. He went by the name Ryan, and he asked me, what am I supposed to do? Aside from that, I am a content creator. After that, he says, okay, what about? I pointed to